Young in Love.
Yo, my people! How in a day? How are you guys doing? I welcome you to another episode of the Young in Love podcast, and it is your favorite host, KEZIA Vilawa. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing the age-long saying that the fastest way to a man's heart is his stomach. We're going to be discussing that age-long saying, and I have brought in the perfect person for this episode, and he's perfect for this episode because he is a seasoned bachelor. He's a seasoned bachelor, an excellent banker, a banker par excellence, and I have known him for years. As far back as when I was in the university, he's been my friend. He's an amazing guy. He's a great guy, and I think he's most suited for this episode because I think he's a foodie. I think he loves food, and he's someone I think is willing to spend money for food. I'm not going to go into details now because he's going to say it for himself. So just stay tuned and I'll be back.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for being on this podcast today.
Thank you.
So what's your name?
My name is Aloma.
Okay. On this episode, we are going to be discussing the age-long tradition.
Okay.
That the fastest way and the shortest way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
For real?
And I think you're the perfect guest for this episode because... Do you remember what happened between us?
I can't. Tell me.
You've forgotten that you've given me money for food before. I mean, you ate this food. It was so nice.
Oh, yeah.
So delicious.
Okay.
And then you got home and you asked for my account number.
Yeah, okay.
That soup.
Okay. I can't
So I think that makes you the excellent guest for this. So how important is food to you as an individual?
Food is very important. I mean, food sustains life.
Okay.
So without food.
So are you a foodie?
I wouldn't say I'm a foodie. But I like food.
You like food, but you're not a foodie?
Yes.
People who like food, they are foodies.
There's someone that comes to my mind now. She says she's a foodie. Mm-hmm. And I can't eat the way she eats.
What do you mean? Like she eats more than you?
She eats more than me, and there
are levels to the... We can all be foodies, right? Okay. And then there will not be levels to the foodieship.
Well, so maybe I'm...
You're in between.
I think so.
Okay, so but can you cook? Can you prepare your own meals?
Yes, of course, I do. I can.
You can?
Yeah.
But just before we start recording, you're shouting that I should give you beans. If beans is that...
No, because the way you've talked about this, your beans thing, so...
No, you should have... If beans is hungering you, right, you should have cooked your beans by yourself. The way you say... Because I know you've told me that when you want to make beans, you used to take your time.
Yes.
With fish. Is it dried fish or which one?
Dried fish.
With dried fish, you first of all... parboil the beans, then fry stew with palm oil, then put the beans. So you should have done it now.
Because I don't have that time, and I saw you post your beans.
Okay, so it's me now. I have the time.
The way you talk about beans. Now let me eat this your beans one day, sir.
Okay. So but when it's time, right, to get married, when you're prospecting for a spouse, is cooking a very important skill for the woman to have? Do you think, like, if you meet a woman and she cannot cook, do you see a wife in her? Do you think you can marry her?
To be honest, it's not on the top for me.
Why?
Okay, yeah. It's not on the top because I've dated someone that couldn't even cook. So
how did that go?
Well, that wasn't the reason why it ended. So that wasn't at all, so it's not on the top for me when you talk about cooking and all that because...
Why? I mean, do you see yourself cooking for the family if you get married? Do you see yourself being the ones... You know how women cook in their homes?
You know the truth is that dynamics have changed. Okay? Let me give you a personal experience.
Yeah.
All right? Like my dad. My mom, civil servant, she was transferred to Abuja.
Okay.
So my dad was left with 4 kids. He had to enter the kitchen. Do you get? So...
Like, he didn't want to move with her?
No, he had his own job here in Lagos.
Okay.
So he couldn't... It was only when he retired that he joined her. So I saw him do it.
Yeah.
So it's not... Because if you say it's a must-have and along the line, circumstances change and all that...
Circumstances change how?
Maybe the woman is transferred.
Okay.
And you have to stay somewhere else. Okay. How do you cope? Do you get? Okay, I have a colleague who went to Canada to do his MBA. You know, how is he coping now? I'm sure he knows how to cook. So,
okay, he's married.
Married with 2 kids here in Nigeria.
Okay.
He's all alone there.
So you're sure he doesn't buy food?
I know he doesn't.
You know?
Yes, we talk. We do video chats and all that. So
Aloma, you're doing this. Your colleague is a guy.
He's a guy, my senior colleague.
You know so much about him that he doesn't buy food.
I sit here.
You're that close to him.
When he was here in Nigeria, I sit here and he sits here. So we're close and we do a lot of video calls, you know. And
okay.
So what I'm saying is that it's good to have it. It's good to meet someone that knows how to cook anyway.
It's a desirable skill.
It's a desirable skill. But then if you go into, let's say, marriage with, you must know how to cook. My thinking is, when circumstances change, what happens? Do you get? Or sometimes tables can turn and the woman might be the one, you know, actually the breadwinner, and has to be out there all day. And the man is maybe...
Don't say the man. Talk about yourself now.
Okay, let me talk about myself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I gave that example. Okay? It's good to have, but not topmost on my list.
So cooking skill is desirable in a woman, but it's not expedient.
It's not, I think so. Yeah, I know so.
That's... Okay, so the thing is, I hear a lot of guys say, even if she doesn't know how to cook, that's fine. We can hire a chef, we can do this, blah, blah, blah. But in actuality, when you start dating these guys or when you get really close to them, you find that they say one thing, but they're actually doing something else, right? Because there's this particular guy that I don't even know. I don't know if I should say we were dating because it was really short. He placed so much emphasis on cooking. Okay. So it's like, if you don't know how to cook, you're not ready to be married. Wow. If you don't know how to cook, you cannot manage a home front. If you don't know how to cook, you're not ready to be a wife. Because according to him, you should first be a wife. I mean, as a single lady, you should first be a wife. Okay. Before you become somebody's wife. Which is why you can look at a single lady and say she's wife material. Okay. So applying that same logic, and each time he says that, he's basically talking about cooking, cleaning, and all of those things. Yeah. So I mean, once I told him, I said, you see this logic you're applying to women, you can apply it to the man too. Yeah. What is the expectation of the man in the home? He should provide, protect. You understand? So first be a husband, right? Before you become my husband, spend money. Do you understand? But I mean, he wasn't willing to do that. He was saying, I don't want to invest so much, and at the end, the relationship will not work. I'm like, that's the same with me, right? So I don't want to invest so much because cooking is time, right? It takes time. Cleaning your house is time. Doing all of those things is time. So I'm not willing to. So do you really mean that? Because you know how you said when you dated this girl, when you guys broke up, it was not because... It wasn't. But somehow, right? Or sometimes we don't know that some of these issues snowball. So we don't think that is the major issue or it contributed. We just isolate the main reason the breakup happened without... I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I get your point. No, did you see, for me, okay, to be honest, it's not on the top of the list. Okay. Because I mean there are options, available. And when you say options, what do you mean? There are options. I mean fast food. Yeah, there are options available. Not that you will live on that anyway. Now, you see, sometimes I like eating my own food. The one you cooked by yourself. Yes, I love eating my food. Not the one a woman cooked for you. A woman has not actually cooked for me in my life. Never. Apart from my mother. Never ever. Apart from my mother, to be honest. Let's say the truth. No, to be honest. You've not dated any girl that cooked even if it's noodles for you. See, let me tell you. Let me tell you. No, to be very honest with you. To be very honest with you. Yes. When noodles, she prepared the noodles when she came for herself. I took a little. You've eaten woman's food now. No, you know when you talk about food, noodles is not food. Like. It's food. Did you eat? Did you noodles enter through your mouth? You ate. No, but when you talk about a home, is it noodles that you'll be eating? It's not, but then it's food. They call it fast food. So you're eating woman has cooked for you. Okay, maybe noodles. So woman has not fried plantain for you, even boiled egg. In fact, there's one funny one that happened. This plantain stuff. There was this babe that came to my place and so
She came. It was in the night. You know, she was supposed to, you know, pass the night and all that. So she said she wanted to eat fried plantain. And I went out that night to look for plantain.
What time?
That was like around 8.
Okay.
Yeah, around past 8. Yeah, around past 8. In fact, my younger brother came to my place to see me. So he was the one I sent out to go and look for plantain, not even me.
Yeah.
So, got the plantain. I said she wanted tomato. Me, I went to look for tomato myself that night.
Okay, so hold on. Your brother went to look for plantain.
And bought.
You went to look for tomatoes.
He went to look for plantain and egg.
An egg.
Yes.
You went for
tomatoes and all that.
And the babe was at home.
Yeah, she was at home. You know,
as for the queen that she was, or is.
She doesn't know my area, so you can't send someone out. So that's not a big deal.
Okay.
So she went into the kitchen and started preparing. And I jokingly told her, please, with me too, I want to chop plantain. And she fried for herself alone. I was like shocked. I was shocked.
What do you mean she fried for herself alone?
She told me she won't fry for me, that I have to do the stuff myself.
You have to fry your own plantain?
Yeah. No, you know, you talked about plantain and all that. So
okay.
Just took me, you know, down memory lane and all that. And I was like, so when she finished, I was already angry. I said, so me.
Wait, you were angry because she said she will not fry for you?
She did not fry for me, and she fried only for herself.
Okay, that's why you were angry.
Yeah, I was. Like me that went outside this night to look for this stuff.
Okay.
You know, to be honest with you, I actually walked out of my house that night because of that. You know, she told me she was trying to joke with me. I said, which kind of joke is that?
So, but did she finish eating the plantain?
I said she finished eating.
In your presence?
In my presence. And the painful part was that when she left, I was the one that had to wash the plate. She ate it.
Oh, I love that baby. She has when. You quarrel before then?
No, I mean, you just came to my place and okay, you get.
Was it her first time of coming?
That's her. She's come to, when I used to stay in First Act, she's come to First Act to see me. So we just had this rapport, but nothing actually was going on, you know. So when I moved to where I am currently, you know, she also came and all that.
But at that time, was something now going on?
Nothing really, you know, nothing, you get. You know, some people, because she stays alone and all that, so she just needed company and all that. That's why she came over. You get. So this plantain stuff just reminded me of that. You know, so.
Maybe she's had experiences in the past.
No, she told me she was joking. So me, I jokingly told her to leave that night. So
you told her to leave in the night? She
left, yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
She said she wanted to eat plantain. You bought plantain for her to fry. When frying, you said fry for me. She said no, she's frying for herself. Yeah. She fried for herself. You were angry. She told you, oh, babe, I was joking.
She didn't tell me babe because I'm not something.
You are not babe. Yeah, Bobo. She told you she was joking.
Yeah.
And then that night.
No, it was, I mean, she could have still gone back to her place, but I'm just being honest. So
she was not planning to stay the night?
She was planning to stay, but
you asked her to leave.
I just told her.
What time of the night was this?
That was like around past 8.
It cannot be past 8 now, because you said you went to look for the plantain and tomatoes.
Of course, now past 8 to 9. You get, it's just plantain you fry and then you eat. But she went home.
Hey, okay, I know 2 wrongs don't make it right. But are you proud of that action?
No, frankly speaking, I'm proud of it, to be honest, because...
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
After that time, did you guys get to talk again?
We got to talk and all that. I tried to, apologize later, to also say I was joking, but, and she wasn't forthcoming, so I let it go.
Because of how you... Anyway, so I think this story you narrated actually buttresses the fact that you now, number one, you're a foodie. And so maybe if she had fried that plantain for you that day, it would have one small corner of your heart, maybe the left ventricle.
Will it have? Sometimes you just want to, you are doing this, okay, let me...
But you said, why are you taking permission in your house? As she's frying the plantain, this is what men do. Let me give you a tip. As they are frying like this, you go to where they are putting the fried one. I'll be taking your own portion. That's what you should have been doing.
No. Well, maybe that's
not what men do.
I don't know about that one. I've not been in that shoe before, so I don't know.
And be spanking Yash.
For real, what's Yash?
Okay, let's move on, right? So that thing that they used to say then, that the fastest way, right, to a man's heart is his stomach. Back then, do you think it held through? I mean, looking at our fathers, our forefathers, our mothers and all, do you think it held?
Yeah, I think we have to understand the circumstance, the kind of culture that they lived then. So it held true, I agree. Because then men were like the hunters. They go out, to work, go to the farm.
Then women cook.
Yeah, women were basically left at home to cater for.
This is a little diversion, right? Sorry to interject. Can you hunt the food that you eat? Let's say if you like eating bushmeat, for instance. Can you go into the forest and hunt it?
There are no forests. I want this people to catch
No,
me.
there are bushes.
Why would I go and hunt for it when I can buy?
When you can buy.
Uh-huh.
So now you see, right? This dynamic can be applied to the woman.
Okay.
Because we were talking about back then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Men, as you said, used to go and hunt.
Yeah.
And women will now cook.
Mm-hmm.
So that expectation of women cooking is still so strong till today. It's still, especially in Nigeria, the average Nigerian man has that thing at the back of his mind that it's the woman's duty, gender roles and all of that, to cook. But we don't place that expectation on you to go and hunt. There are options. You say, why should you go and hunt when you can buy? The woman too now, why should she stress in the kitchen, cooking, sweating and all of that, when, for instance, you guys can hire a chef in the house or maybe buy your food or whatever?
It's about roles here, really. It's about roles, okay? And about dynamics. You have, if the woman, we talked about traditional role. Mm-hmm. The man goes hunts or goes to the farm and all that. And that was then. If that is not the case now.
And the woman cooks.
Yes.
Okay.
If that is not the case now, where the man, in some cases, the woman is the one out there.
Out there doing what?
Working.
And then she still comes home to cook.
That's what I'm saying.
Most of the time.
Yes. And which, we just have to...
She will hunt, she will cook.
For me personally, I don't think it's fair.
Okay.
That's for me personally.
Ladies, are you listening? Aloma is a very gentle man. So, you can shoot your shots.
So, I don't think it's fair actually. Yeah. Because rules have changed but I don't also think that cooking is actually the way to a man's heart.
Okay, so hold on. Before you tell us what you think.
Yeah.
You're saying back then.
Yeah.
It was the way to a man's heart?
It might be one of the ways to a man's heart.
One of the ways?
Yes. I'm saying this because
one of the major ways.
I don't know whether it's major because I didn't live back then. So let me talk for myself now. Okay. Like my granddad had like 7 wives. Mm-hmm. So if cooking was, the first one, he could have stuck with the first one. Do you get? But had second, third, up to the 7th. So
maybe all of them were great cooks.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Okay. So you get my point. It's not really. It might be one of the ways. So.
What about now?
Now, is it? I don't think so.
Why?
I think a man's heart it's more than food, though.
What is it? What is it? It's more than food. What is it? What's the way to a man's heart? What is the way to your own heart? In case there are people who are listening.
My own heart.
Commitment. That's the way to your heart.
Commitment. Food can come third.
So list. First and second, 1, commitment, 2,
mutual respect. Okay. Then maybe food.
That means it's still topping the list.
And that's if you ask the number of items on the list.
Okay.
Okay. So
what about in the future? Do you think it would hold through?
It should, yeah, it will. It will.
That food is the fastest way to a man's heart?
No, not fastest. It can be fastest now. It's just natural.
Or shortest way.
It might be one of the ways, but not the fastest. There are so many other things that will get a man's attention and heart apart from food. When you meet a lady, it's not food you talk about the first time. Okay, so but what was going through your mind that day you came to my house, right? You ate egusi soup. You were even sweating. Because I remember the truth is, I didn't even know I was going to eat that in your house. It wasn't planned. It wasn't planned. So, so I just came and you brought out something, and so it wasn't. I didn't go there with the mindset. Yeah, but so what was going through your mind at that time? Oh, what was going as I was eating the food? Yes, I was like, oh, she even knows how to cook. Oh, so were you impressed? No, I was actually. Okay, let's say you've liked me in time past. Did that increase by any percentage at all? The love or the likeness you had for me? No, of course it did. It did. Okay, so now you admit that food has the potential to increase. I agree. A man's love for a woman. I agree, but it's not for me personally. It's not everything. Yes, it's not. But then it's something. It's something. A little something. Yeah. And then now when you got home, explain to me, right, that thought process that went on that now made you call to say, send your account number.
for the soup?
Well,
Have you just wanted to dash me money?
No, more like, oh, she sold into my life. She sold into my life. So let me just...
Sold into your life?
Yeah, I mean, she gave me food and all that. And, okay, let me just...
Oh, it wasn't about the food. It was about the seed that you thought I sowed.
Yeah, you know...
So you have been deceiving me this whole time?
How?
Because you were saying that soup,
No, but the soup is okay. No, don't get it twisted. The soup is fine. The soup is fine. And like... No, the soup is okay. It's nice and I enjoyed it. Yeah, very okay. So, I mean, someone comes to your house and gives you something and you like this person. I said, okay, well, let me just...
Okay, it was because
let me just retaliate, you know. And the best way I thought I could retaliate was just to, you know...
As for Sinzo money.
It's not Sinzo money anything. It's just based on what?
As for Odogo.
You can say that.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Aloma, thank you so much for being on this episode.
Okay.
Before we go, just one thing. I want you to say something short, a brief, concise advice to persons who may be listening and who have like maybe placed too much emphasis on cooking or maybe have placed too little emphasis on cooking, because I know I've heard some guys complain that their wives don't know how to cook.
Okay.
Then I've also heard another guy say, do you know what it means for a man? That is the pride of a man when his wife cooks for him. Like, there can be maids, but you see the food our guy will eat. That is his pride when his woman cooks it for him. So, do you have any advice for men who have placed too much emphasis? Okay, let's start with the too much emphasis. Do you have any advice for men who have placed too much emphasis on cooking?
Well, I think when a man is, first of all, we need to know that dynamics have changed. So I think it would be unfair. That's my own thinking. If the woman is the one out there doing everything and comes back home, I still expect her to go into the kitchen to do
when
the
you say
cooking.
Out there doing everything, what?
Work. I mean work.
Okay, but the man will also be working.
Yeah, sometimes men do what they call gig economy. You work from home, you work freelancing and all that, not the regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay? So... And I think if a man is really ready to settle down, food really, that's my own thinking. If someone who is still holding food, you must not have food. You can learn how to cook now. Go to YouTube. You will learn.
Right. YouTube is a good place.
So if cooking, that's why I talked about commitment. If someone is committed, the person is willing to do anything, you know, just to make sure that the project works. And in this case, you're talking about marriage. So if you're still holding on to cooking, you must... I'm not sure that person is actually very ready, you know, to settle down, because it's a process. Okay. You know, you don't see someone who is 100% perfect. But if there's commitment, that's why I talked about commitment. It means a lot to me. So that's my advice to someone like that.
Yeah. Okay. So what about your advice for people with too little emphasis on this thing?
Well, I will share something. The truth is, I actually used to place little emphasis. But I have a friend, he's working on his divorce and all that. We grew up together in Festac and all that. And when I was just gisting with him about, this girl that I dated and that didn't know how to cook and all that, he told me something. That cooking is important in marriage, you know. And when he said that, when people talk to me, I go back home and like reflect. Yeah. Because I've been that's my own person. I have food. I feel cook. Me, I dey cook now. You know, that kind of stuff. But when he told me, he's been married before, okay? Even though food wasn't what cost there. Okay. But because the lady doesn't know her according to him and all that, it gave me like... The
lady did not love him?
No, the lady was actually older than himself. Okay. So, he was actually the one that chased, the lady and all that. So, and they have like 2 boys. So he told me that our food is important in this thing. I said, okay. I had to go back home and, you know, start thinking and say, okay, maybe actually, since this one has been in it before. And the wife did not know how to cook. According to him. Was not willing to learn. Their own case was somehow. So I think that we just need to learn how to strike a balance. All right. Yeah, strike a balance. And I still go back to commitment. If a man is committed in something, he'll be willing to bend backwards to make sure it works. If the lady is committed to make it work, her learning how to cook for the home, I don't think should be a big deal. Okay? You know, so that's it. Right. Thank you so much, Aloma, for the time. All right. You're welcome. I can't pay you for this sacrifice.
Thank you
Okay,
so
you know
much.
it's a sacrifice, right?
I know. Definitely.
Okay. But you promised me beans.
I didn't promise you beans.
Okay, you give me beans. You can pay me with beans. That's
I
fine.
did not promise you. I don't even have beans again. Beans has finished. But we can order beans, right? Shebi, we are in modern. We can order beans from, one place like that near my house.
But you pay.
I can pay them. There's no problem.
Okay, no wahala.
Put the bill on me.
No
What are you
wahala.
talking
This
about?
will be- It's all right.
Okay. So, thanks. Thank you again
welcome.
for being on this episode. I really appreciate. What I'm going to say is this. So, the ladies listening, and I always start with the ladies. If you want to do it, right? If you want to prove how much of a wife material you are to your man, feel free to do that. But don't allow yourself be put under undue pressure. Because I know that there was a time I was dating this guy in Port Harcourt. I visited him. I brought out my heart. Beans is my favorite meat. I brought out my heart to cook that beans that day. I cooked the beans. I wanted to fry it. He said, no, don't fry. Put inside the beans so that the beans will be tasting sugar. So I know I brought out my mind that day and I cooked. I didn't feel like I was pressured. I wanted to do it. He didn't ask me to do it. I didn't feel like it was a criteria for me to be in his good book, for him to wife me up, stuff like that. So if you must cook or do any of those, in quotes, wifely duties, do it because you want to do it, so that if the relationship does not work out, you will not be saying, after I cooked for him, because I've heard somebody say that to me. She said, KEZIA, do you know how much I slaved in that relationship? Not only was she cooking for the man, she was cooking for his family. When they have any family get together, because she went to all these, culinary schools, and so she had the skill, they will contract her. She will cook, So now she's out of the relationship. She feels like she's slaved.
Yeah.
She suffered. Maybe she was doing it because she wants to prove. Because if she was doing it from this point of, this is my job, I'm a chef.
Yeah.
So they are contracting me, this is business. Then it would have been better. She will not feel that after slaving for the family. Do you understand? And maybe sometimes they will contract her and just give her money for the food stuff. They will not pay her. You understand? So I'm going to tell you, ladies, do it because you want to do it. Don't allow anybody to pressure you into doing that. And then for the men, I'm going to tell you, there are ladies who will cook your destiny away. And do you know that since I came to Lagos, it surprises me how much Lagos men are willing to just open their mouths, and eat from any freaking pot. In Port Harcourt, you don't see men opening their mouth like that to eat. I'm telling you the truth, because the majority of the guys, they're in oil and gas. Okay. So there's money, they want to be careful. They don't want to go and eat kayamata inside food. So even if you visit them, they don't expect you to enter their kitchen.
Yeah.
They will not eat your food. Since I came to Lagos, I saw that, hey, guys don't come, when you cook food, boom, they'll eat. I'm like, what is going on here? So you guys really have to be careful. I think if you're prayerful, God will definitely direct you on who your spouse is. It's not until she cooks, makes everything for you that this one will make a good wife, because there are witches that know how to cook. Yeah. And when you marry them, your life has finished. They will be with you. Your life has finished. And then they're actually good girls with morals, with values, and all of those things. Whilst they don't really know how to cook. Okay, Take me for example. I'm not saying that I'm such a horrible cook, but I will not hold myself out as a great cook either. What's wrong? Why?
No, I agree with you.
And this is it, right? I grew up primary school, secondary school was boarding all through. From boarding school, I went to university. Where I schooled, we were not allowed to cook. So throughout my university days, and those are, for me, I feel that university days are like the formative years for a woman when it comes to cooking. That's when she's out of her parents' home and she's experimenting with things, making mistakes, learning the tricks and all. During that period, I wasn't cooking. I was always at school, eating school food, cafeteria food and all of that. Then holidays, just few, before you know, you're back to school again. Stuff like that. When I finished, it was law school in Abuja. We were not also allowed to cook. We were buying food. Yeah. We dare not cook. Then from there to NYSC. My NYSC, I was working in this law firm where there was so much demand, blah, 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 and all of that. And then from there, Look now, I'm out of the house. I'm not home again. So it is now actually that I'm finding that, okay, sometimes, I don't always cook, but sometimes I have to cook. But am I a bad person? No. I love my wife material.
Oh, you are actually.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say, that there are good girls who might not necessarily know how to cook.
Yeah.
Which might not even be a fault of theirs.
Very true.
Do you understand? So don't let cooking, I'm talking to the men now, don't let cooking be a determining factor of who is a wife, who is not a wife. On that note, I bring this episode of From His Stomach to His Heart to an end now. Till when next we meet, bye and be good. Thank you for listening to this episode of Young in Love. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you did, you can rate us and write a review on Apple and Google Podcasts. Feel free to like our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram at YoungInLove_podcast. Share this podcast with your family and friends. Subscribe to Young in Love Podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support Young in Love Podcast, you can do this on our Patreon account by visiting patreon.com/YoungInLove and making a small monthly donation of as little as $1 every month or 350 naira monthly, or even bigger donations as you feel led to. But hey, if you cannot make any donations, that's fine too, because besides just money, Young in Love Podcast has thrived and will continue to thrive on the prayers and good wishes of good people like you. Until the next episode, bye and be good.
Young in Love.